Now, back in high school, we used to make these quite a lot. Stay tuned. So this is the blank I'll be using for the whistle. It's a lovely piece of cherry. It's slightly less than 7 inches long. That's 175 mil roughly. And the square is a little less than 40 mil, around 1.5 inches. So this will go lightly in shark jaws, like so. Just loose. And I'll bring the tailstock and square this end, again by eye, little pressure, tighten the shark jaws and tighten the tailstock a little bit, and that's it. So now we can, as always, first step is to remove the corners and make it nice and round. And for that I'll be using 1-inch skew, and the speed will be roughly 2000 RPM. It's still slightly too big than what I would like, so I'll just taper it down a little bit. And now what we're going to do is drill a hole, and I'm using here 10 mil drill bit. So just go slowly, bring the speed down, pull it out a few times so it doesn't bend. Okay, that should be deep enough. Bring back the cone. Light pressure. So I'll make another taper here. I think that should be okay. This is still a little bit too thick, so I hope you can see why this is such a good skew practice project. You learn all the different cuts with the skew, planing cut, peeling cut, and I think that should be okay here. So now we need to make a cutout. So let's say 1 inch, 25 mil from the opening here. And now is actually a good time to show you the surface straight from the skew. That's looking really lovely. And like I said, roughly 25 mil from the opening. And let's pick this lovely grain here. So something like this. And we need an angled portion from here from the top. It will taper down roughly to halfway here. Now this is a regular fine-tooth saw, and just go a little less than halfway down. A little bit more. Okay, that should be okay. And now what you can do is lock the spindle and use nice sharp chisel, and now just slowly carve this at an angle. And if you take a little bit more bite, let's say, then you can use the palm of your hand, this harder spot here, to sort of give a little tap. Or you can use a mallet, proper mallet. Okay, so this area is nice and clean. Now this end grain here can be a little rough from the saw, so I just use again chisel and slowly pare it away, and then give it a little bit of sanding if you want. Okay, so now you can see the cutout and you can see how much of the hole is visible. So like I said, a little less than halfway down. So you'll have a little bit less than half of the hole is exposed. So now just do the shaping just the way you want. I'll taper this down a little bit more like so. Bring this down slightly more. And I would like some sort of a foot here, so it will stand upright, and the hole inside ends up somewhere around here, so it should be okay. Just make sure you have a nice clean surface. There will be much less need for sanding. And what I think I'll do here is nice chamfer, and I'll leave just a little flat spot at the bottom and small foot, and this would be the end, let's say. Just put a little 2 lines here. We'll burn those now. So thin wire, and this will be just a decoration, and I want the same amount of char in those grooves. So now I'll quickly sand this. I'll use 320 grit. I'm using the paper this time. I have this left over, so I want to use it. Okay, so the sanding is done, and I'll just go with the grain so there are less of the concentric marks. Now I had to bring down the foot slightly more. There was a little chip out on the, like here, so I had to reduce the diameter slightly. So just reduce this sharp edge. So that's done. I can part it off, and for that I like to loosen the tailstock a little bit. So we have the body done, and I'll sand this after, and now we need to make the little insert here. And I like to use the rest over from the blank here. So we use all the blank nicely, and now you can use a contrasting timber if you want, really doesn't matter. But what is great about this exercise, let's say, or this project, is you have sizing, so you have to make a dowel here. Again, peeling cut. Clean up the end here. These calipers are set for the right diameter, which is slightly more than 10 mil. And before I continue on shaping the rest of the dowel, I just want to check if it fits. Okay, so that's a good fit. now just plane into nice cylinder, using the bevel as a guide, so it's nice and straight. Okay, that should be okay. And it is. And I want the length to be, I hope you can see it, just slightly out of the hole here. So I can mark the length, and I'll leave a little bit more. We can always sand that away. And we can remove this. There is a slight burnish mark, hope you can see it here, so we can sand that so it will be slightly easier to push it in. Now before I part it off, what I want to do is actually first just remove that burnish mark here. Just a little bit of sanding like so. And before I part it off, I want to make a nice flat spot here. So again, using the chisel, sorry about the camera. So I remove the bulk like so, and then I'll finesse it with nice shear cut, let's say. Okay, so that's looking quite good. Now we can part it off. And now we can actually do a first test drive. So hope you can see now this flat spot, how big it is. So in the hole you can see how much it's missing. Now I want to position the flat spot around with this area here, and again push it in until it meets here, this opening, and just try it. Works lovely. So we can glue this in. So we'll do that off the camera real quick. I'll use a CA glue, and I won't put on top of the hole because I don't want to get this airway blocked. So only on the bottom surface here a little bit. Doesn't take much, and this is a snug fit anyway. It is glued in, and I sent this flush, and I sent the bottom also flush. So what I want to do, I have this spindle. It's just a cylinder wrapped with sandpaper, and all I want to do is just make a little cutout at an angle like so. And here it is. Looks really lovely. I like this kind of design. We used to make these in high school, and it has a nice lovely foot here so you can stand upright. And cherry is a really lovely timber, and it will darken with age, so it has a nice sort of patina. And this is just a wax on the surface here. So I also make sure that I put it a little bit of oil through here, so it doesn't have a lighter area inside, so it just darkens everything a little bit. But on the outside is wax, and you can also buff it with carnauba wax on a polisher if you want. It will give a nice shine. So turn down the volume. Again, this one is really loud and sounds really great. So Hope you'll try this. It's a great item to sell on a craft shows, fairs and stuff like that. But again, just be aware that it can be rather annoying. So trust me from experience. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.